Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. Yesterday we were speaking about Deion Sanders. Well, speaking of Colorado, while we're on the subject, you got a member of Congress from out there who went to a theater and started acting out her perversions publicly. Lauren Boebert. Just the latest example that the U.S. Congress is nothing more than a collection of perverts, degenerates, crazies, lunatics, and scum. You have this two-bit heifer who's only about a day away from starting an OnlyFans account. Her ex-husband's past indiscretions have been white media fodder for a little bit, but Lauren Boebert herself divorced him, and she's now out to prove that she can one-up him in the bad publicity department. Now, I've never seen the movie Beetlejuice, much less the stage play, but I have to wonder what kind of person goes to that kind of a stage show and apparently gets turned on. Who goes to a live theatrical stage play and decides to start vaping? Worse still, who does it before the lights have even been dimmed? Lauren Boebert was already vaping in broad daylight with the lights were on in full view of everyone. And then, when the lights dim, she and her boyfriend decide that that's a good time for them to start a grope fest. And so a family-friendly show instantly became X-rated. And of course she had to vape, because vaping's not as addictive as cigarettes, right? And just to show what a class act she is, when a pregnant woman behind Boebert told her to stop vaping, she turned around and insulted the pregnant woman, calling her a sad and miserable person. This is the party of pro-life small-town values. By the way, did I mention that Lauren Boebert is herself a mother? God, she's already multiplying. And she's even a grandmother. A shame she didn't get her tubes tied before she started polluting the gene pool with her clearly defective material. But this is the Republican Party for you. These are the people who claim that they're so pro-life. Because, hey, who hasn't blown smoke in a pregnant woman's face, right? Eventually, complaints from members of the audience mounted until the ushers and security felt compelled to tell Boebert and her companion that they both had to leave. She, of course, gave them the middle finger on her way out, keeping it classy. Now, when the story broke, you had Lauren Boebert's PR people who decided that they were going to usher a little snarky statement. You can tell that these clowns are picking out of the exact same grab bag as Ron DeSantis. They can't just give a professional-sounding statement. They gotta sound like professional Twitter trolls because that's the mentality that they have. And I'm sure that Lauren Boebert thought that it was all fun and games until she found out that the theater that she was at had infrared cameras and night vision, and because of that they were able to actually show everybody exactly what she was doing. All of a sudden her denials and claiming that she hadn't done anything, and I don't know anything about any vaping, and I don't know what's going on, it was proven to be a pack of lies. So she was then reduced to trying to claim that she didn't remember vaping. The woman was vaping before the doggone lights had even dimmed. She's a liar, and not even a very good one. You see, this isn't just about being trashy. This is about throwing it in people's faces. That's what a degenerate like Lauren Boebert gets off on. That's where she gets her kicks from. Violating the norms and standards of society, telling a pregnant woman you're a sad and miserable person. That's what she likes to do. That's her high. That's her thing. Lauren Boebert is typical racist trash. Just last year, she attacked the proposed Crown Act, which bans harassment and discrimination of black people based on hair. She called the law the Bad Hair Bill. Now, looking at that rat's nest that she's got on her head, she's the last one to be talking about bad hair. Lauren Boebert looks like someone swept together fur left behind by a pack of alley cats and glued it onto her scalp. This is the same Colorado that Deion Sanders is coaching for. The same Colorado where police murdered Elijah McClain and then posted photos of themselves after his murder, mocking the killing that they had just committed. Now, it's also been reported that Boebert's boyfriend, who she couldn't keep her hands off of, also is the co-owner of a gay bar in Aspen that regularly hosts drag shows. And no surprise, this man is also a Democrat. So apparently this woman, she gets a kinky thrill out of hopping into bed with the opposing team. Boebert says that she's since broken up with this man since that theatrical incident, even though just a week or so ago she was groping the guy in public. And of course she's claiming that his being a Democrat and owning a bar that patronizes LGBT customers and hosts drag shows had nothing to do with her decision to break up with him. Sure, this massive scandal blows up in your face, and you're exposed as an enormous hypocrite, and that has nothing to do with your decision, I gotta break up with this guy right now. See, this is happening because these white supremacists have no core values. other than to hang on to power. And that also goes for her Democrat boyfriend. Lauren Boebert's been doing the most to push the LGBT groomers line, and yet here she is making out with a Democrat who owns a gay bar that hosts drag shows. And you think she didn't know about that? She didn't mind at all, and neither did he. Why wasn't he bothered about being in a relationship with someone who runs around constantly railing that this guy's business caters to child molesting groomers? Somebody who clearly is painting a target on him. Why isn't he bothered by that? I don't know if this Democrat quote-unquote boyfriend of hers is familiar with Boebert's racist remarks towards the black community, but if he was unfazed by what she says about his business based on its clientele, I think it's safe to say he thinks nothing of her anti-black racism. And to think, this is the woman and the political party telling everyone that they are so concerned about the safety and well-being of children. And what does she do? She literally blows smoke into the face of a pregnant woman. This is the party of pro-life, but then again, they don't care about their own children being slaughtered in classrooms by people with white privilege, so they think less than nothing about unborn children because after all, they can't vote. To them, these issues are nothing more than buttons for them to push, a way to get their racist Rube supporters to give them campaign donations. But about the only thing they're seriously devoted to is their anti-black racism. That's about the only issue that they're not flexible on. Everyone else they can get along with just fine. They're bumping uglies with people who they claim cater to groomers, and they can do it without a pang of remorse or even any regret. But what else do you expect from a piece of trash like this? And there's no honor among sleaze. Lauren Boebert was besties with her other female racist pal, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but those two had a falling out when Boebert tried to steal Greene's thunder by introducing a bill to impeach Biden. Apparently those two idiots had some sort of informal competition going to see who could do it first. Greene wanted to be the one to do it because then she could use it to fundraise with. The two of them had a spat on the floor of the House, and Greene called Boebert the B word. Now you got some figures in the white media who say that Lauren Boebert's being held to a lower standard than other people in Congress. But judging by Greene's behavior, no. The standard is pretty much the same. Under white supremacy, there is no standard for those with racial privilege. But it's not just limited to members of Congress. Years ago, former President Jimmy Carter wrote a book entitled A Government as Good as Its People. Well, I hate to break it to old JC, but that's exactly what America's got. The United States is based on racial privilege, which rewards corruption and exalts being racist and immoral. Degenerate slave owners are valiant lovers of freedom. Traitors like the Confederacy are complicated men of their time. Violent race killers are merely mentally ill individuals who need our sympathy. Casual racists are just white moderates. When you have a system of goodies, giveaways, and guarantees based on race, and the recipients of this social welfare scam are praised and told that they're hard-working, what you're doing is you're conditioning them to think nothing that they do is wrong. So of course you're going to be getting garbage like Lauren Boebert acting out her perverted fantasies in public. And please don't expect her unsanctioned hanky-panky to get her censured by Congress. Congress doesn't do that. She made her bad hair bill remarks in her capacity as a congresswoman just last year, and Democrats who controlled the House didn't say boo about it, so don't expect the Republicans to do anything at all. But Lauren Boebert's not alone. Republican South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem is a married woman, but apparently not happily married, because she's been caught in an adulterous affair with former Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski. Again, let's hear it for those Republican family values. American politics is literally a whorehouse, and what makes it worse is that it's the voters who are getting pimped. All these politicians are engaged in the exact same kinds of low-life behavior. You see it from Joe Biden with his degenerate little kids and the drugs and all the rest of that raunchy behavior going on. So they know that if they call any of their friends out, well, all of them would have to answer for their sins. So you got a mutual protection racket going. I say all this for the fools who pop up in my comments saying that black people should vote Republican. Please tell me why I would want to vote for a party with racist trash like Lauren Boebert as one of their quote-unquote rising stars. What has the GOP offered to the black community? It's rank stupidity for someone to vote for the other party simply because you're fed up with the first one. This is not about demonstrating that we can change allegiances. We don't have to prove anything on that front at all. This is about seeing who's going to actually compete to get our vote. Right now, neither party is. And until that changes, our stance doesn't. It's good to see Lauren Boebert getting dragged. I've certainly gotten a few chuckles out of it. She's had it coming for a while now, but let's remember that her willingness to get into a raunchy, trashy, gutter sex affair with a man who's not only a Democrat but also owns a gay bar that hosts drag shows, it just goes to prove that white supremacy's dividing line has nothing to do with their alleged differences on the issues. This is an example of Democrats and Republicans literally being in the same bed together. This is how these guys operate, hand in hand. They play off of each other in order to keep their respective constituents voting without really getting anything. Oh, they make a big show of it when they're over there in front of the cameras, but as soon as the cameras are gone, here these guys are, bumping uglies, lips locked, feeling on each other, just mutual degeneracy. And while you have people getting furious with one another because of what these politicians say, meanwhile they're busy making out with each other, happily breaking laws, and then walking off together hand in hand. And you got these idiots with these anonymous sock puppet accounts who actually think that the black vote's going to be dumb enough to ally itself with that? Believe it or not, Lauren Boebert's actually no more degenerate or less degenerate than the rest of her pals on Capitol Hill. About the only difference between her and them is that she's also too stupid to keep her dirt covered up. And if you think that's not what's really going on here, then you're the one who's blowing smoke. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. William Zellers, Wesley Monroe, Mark Singleton, Len, and Andrew Lewis. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.